Batman and Robin. Written by Susan Colon. Based on a screenplay by Akiva Goldsman. Batman and Robin, Gotham City's super crime fighting team, raced out of the Batcave. The cold criminal, Mr. Freeze, had broken into the Gotham Museum.
He's going to steal the giant white diamond.
No, Robin. He's going to jail.
At the Gotham Museum, Batman and Robin found Mr. Freeze clutching the giant white diamond. Around him were museum guards, frozen solid by his ice gun.
Time to chill out, Freeze. Drop the diamond.
You're not sending me to the cooler.
Mr. Freeze climbed into his ice vehicle, which suddenly turned into a rocket. With a mighty roar, the rocket capsule blasted off, and Mr. Freeze escaped. Meanwhile, a brilliant scientist named Dr. Pamela Isley was working on a plant serum that would breed super tough plants. But an evil scientist named Dr. Jason Woodrue decided to steal her serum.
I'm afraid you'll have to die.
Dr. Woodrue sent Pamela crashing into a wall, lined with plants and beakers containing strange chemicals. Pamela emerged from the wreckage, changed by the chemicals. She was now part human, part plant, and totally poisonous. She gives Dr. Woodrue a kiss with her venom-filled lips.
I'm Poison Ivy.
A moment later, Dr. Woodrue fell to the floor, clutching his throat, gasping for air.
Now, I think I'll transplant myself in Gotham City.
While Poison Ivy headed to Gotham City, Batman and Robin returned to the Batcave, their secret headquarters, located far below a big mansion. There, the two heroes changed into their other identities. Batman became millionaire Bruce Wayne, and Robin became young Dick Grayson. Upstairs in Wayne Manor, Bruce and Dick answered an unexpected knock at the door.
Hello, I'm Barbara Wilson. I'm looking for Uncle Alfred.
She rushed into the arms of Bruce's faithful butler, Alfred. Bruce invited Barbara to stay with them at Wayne Manor. That night, Bruce and Dick put on their crime-fighting costumes, transforming themselves into Batman and Robin. They had a hunch that Mr. Freeze might try to steal the giant diamond that was going to be on display at a fancy party called the Flower Ball. If Mr. Freeze did show up, the two heroes would be there to stop him. Sure enough, Mr. Freeze crashed the party with a dozen of his Icemen. As Batman and Robin battled the Iceman, Mr. Freeze grabbed the diamond and sped off in his truck. Batman jumped into the Batmobile and raced after Mr. Freeze. But the cold criminal aimed his freeze gun at the Batmobile and fired. Quickly, Batman ejected out of the Batmobile just before it was frozen solid. As Batman flew through the air, he stretched out his cape like a giant wing and glided into Mr. Freeze's truck.
I'm putting you on ice.
Batman crashed through the truck's roof and captured the villain. Back at Wayne Manor, Alfred gave Barbara a computer disk. He asked her to keep it safe and not to look at it. But Barbara couldn't resist taking a peek.
Plans for the Batcave? The design for the Batmobile? Wow! That means Bruce and Dick are really Batman and Robin!
Barbara decided that even Batman and Robin could use some help. As Barbara developed a surprise for Batman and Robin, Poison Ivy arrived at Arkham Asylum with Mr. Freeze's cryogenic suit. She wanted to join forces with Mr. Freeze, so together they could defeat Batman and Robin and destroy Gotham City. While Ivy distracted the guards, Mr. Freeze's icy touch made the water pipes in his cell burst. The wall exploded, and Ivy and Freeze escaped. The villains soon set their wicked plan into action. Poison Ivy returned to her garden hideout to plant a trap for Batman and Robin. Mr. Freeze went to the Gotham City Observatory to turn the telescope into a giant ice cannon.
I will blanket the city in endless winter. First Gotham, and then the world!
Batman and Robin soon located Poison Ivy's garden hideout. They hoped to capture Poison Ivy and learn the villainess's plans. But instead, Ivy trapped them in her vicious vines. Batman and Robin couldn't move.
You can't stop us now.
Then, a mysterious young woman wearing a dark costume broke through the skylight. She pounced on Poison Ivy and put a pair of bat cuffs on the villainess. She then helped Batman and Robin get free from their bonds.
Who are you?
I'm Batgirl. It's me, Barbara. I found the Batcave, and I want to help you fight crime.
Then let's go. We've got a city to save.
But was it too late? Mr. Freeze's giant ice cannon had already buried all of Gotham under ice and snow. And there were only minutes left to defrost the frozen people of Gotham. Batman and Robin and Batgirl quickly raced to the observatory and began battling Mr. Freeze's Iceman to get inside. Then, suddenly, Mr. Freeze appeared.
Tonight's forecast, a freeze is coming.
Mr. Freeze fires his gun at Batman. But the crime fighter used his cape to shield himself from the freezing ray.
It's payback time.
With a powerful punch, Batman knocks Mr. Freeze to the floor. Mr. Freeze was out cold. But Batman, Robin, and Batgirl still had to save the citizens of Gotham from an icy grave.
We can use the telescope to reflect warm sunlight from the other side of the equator. That will reverse the freezing process.
With seconds left, Batgirl set her fingers flying over the keyboard of the observatory's computer. She programmed the telescope to line up with the sun. And soon, warm sunlight poured down onto the city and melted all the ice. The people of Gotham were saved. With Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy locked up in Arkham Asylum, Bruce, Dick, and Barbara celebrated at Wayne Manor.
Now, you're going back to school, young lady.
But I want to fight crime too. Remember? I saved you from Poison Ivy. Partners?
Okay. Partners.
From then on, Batman, Robin, and Batgirl would work together to keep Gotham City safe.